Thank you for joining us. This is Travis Sellers with the True Rebels Attain Victory.
John Wilson.
And we have our guest speaker today, Eric Mobley. This is our first guest speaker, by the way.
Shout out to Eric.
Yes. I get to be the first guest speaker. I'm loving it.
And today we're going to talk about health and working out and eating.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why we're doing it because I work out a lot, and I'm really the professional, the most
This guy.
informed about eating, working out, all of those things, right? But we want to have like some scientific stuff behind it.
I would agree with that.
Because we see people, and one of the things I've been trying to do with your wife, right? If you have a wife out there and you're trying to give her these tips, you need the extra scientific information, right? So what I try to say is, hey, look, man, if you want to get this right here, you got to stop eating. You got to stop eating. That's what I say. Stop eating so much. And then the key is like, she always says, I don't eat. I don't eat. And I'm like, hold up, you eat something. I'm like, record it. I said, if you record it, I can see what you're really eating. Because you eat that junk food in there, now and then, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you eat the junk food in there, guess what you got to do? Burn it. You got to burn that shit off. You got to burn it off. What do you think, Aaron?
Well, I mean, there's you can't outwork out a diet, right? You can't.
Yes.
Like as far as weight loss, you can't work. The only way that you're going to be able to lose weight is being a calorie deficit, right? So if you're working out, you're going to require more fuel. So now your energy uptake is going to increase. So you're going to maintain whatever you're doing based on that level of working out. So if you start working out a little bit more, your diet is going to increase because you're going to need more fuel. So then you're going to maintain a balance. So your weight is probably going to stay in right in that same area. But if you want to actually lose weight, like you said, you have to be in a calorie deficit. So you have to be taking in less calories than you expend.
Oh, so yeah. So that's how I was
But the way he said it, you see what I'm saying? When I asked you, he said, the way he said it, you have to be in a calorie deficit. That's it's a beautiful thing. It's better than saying don't eat, man. You can't eat. Stop eating. You can't be eating that shit. That's what you said to me. You know what I mean? So
I'm trying to keep it real with you.
Well, I mean, what you were, but you kept it real offensive. You kept it real
Being a
offensive.
calorie deficit situation.
I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Thank you for that.
Hey, you're welcome.
But I'm saying, like, all right, so if you're talking to, someone who's trying to lose weight, right there, I guess you would say, is it okay to say obese?
Yeah,
you can't say fat anymore, right?
You don't want to say fat. You want to say obese.
You got to say obese.
I didn't know that. That's the new rules. Okay.
I mean,
can't say fat.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm not.
So if you have a fat guy coming in or a fat woman, right, that you're servicing, not even fat, but just has like a gut. Would you? So let's talk about. So let's break it down. So let's talk about, I guess, workout. What you said, the calorie deficit.
That's if you want to lose weight. Yes, you got to be in a calorie deficit.
And then let's talk about men versus women, or if you want to say men versus women.
I mean, you could. There are differences, but there's so many similarities.
All right.
So the bones and the muscles all connect at the same place.
All right. So let's break it down first. Like, so if you have a client that has like the average person,
right?
Oh yeah. So let me say this first. If you have the average person and they're trying to get like me, like say not say anything against anybody else, but they're trying to be like me,
right?
Okay, I'm not average,
right?
You're such a modest guy.
So typically, if I had a person to come in that said, "Hey, I want to be like Travis Sellers," right?
Exactly.
I would say, okay, let's talk about you being like Travis Sellers. So let's say this client is my height, right? And I want to be like Travis Sellers. Well, that's not going to work because I'm not 6'5".
I'm 6'6". I'm 6'6".
I'm sorry, I'm not 6'6". So I can't say I can't make you look like Travis. It's going to be impossible because you don't have the arm length, you don't have the muscle structure, you don't have this. And again, it might be a person that comes in that's 6'6", but again, maybe he's got a longer torso, shorter legs.
Sure.
I can't make you look like Travis Seller. So I'm like, I want to make you look like the best you. So everything, the client's going to come back. And you got to be careful because you can't typically always just say, hey, no, you can't look like that guy. You got to kind of put that focus back on them and say, hey, what's the best you that you want to look like? Like, do you have pictures? Do you have goals? Like, what do you want to look like? You know what I mean? And then we kind of talk about it like that.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I think that's the
So don't try to be like Travis Seller. I can't be like John. I can't be like John.
Well, I was trying, but like he said,
like
I'm only 5'7", so
he gets like the arms and shoulders so easy. Like I remember one time he was cutting remember he was cutting the tree?
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't been working out. I was like, what do you mean?
I wasn't, but that is a form of working out, right? So
Absolutely.
I'm working on the tree. I was chopping it, and actually I had an electric saw as well. But you got to balance it, things like that. So it kind of works.
Yeah, so that's physical activity, and your job counts as physical activity. So if I'm meeting a client and I'm like, okay, what are your activity levels? So I don't work out much, but I'm a construction worker. No, you work out every day.
Absolutely.
You work out just as much as a professional athlete. So you do work out every day. So what kind of things can we do to supplement that? Or try to make your job easier, or you feel less stressed or whatever, from a day of work.
So do you think that looking athletic is different than losing weight? Because I think it could be like trying to be have an athletic look is a different level of working out than it is just being.
Absolutely. And but you can still train. Like again, my philosophy of how I base everything is just like on my background. So I'm going to train you more of total body. Now I can specify. I mean, you want to bulk up, you want to do that. But again, I try to train the overall total body as opposed to like, okay, I want this to be really big, or I want my back or my traps or my chest to stay. See, I wasn't blessed with a big chest,
right.
So so I kind of work out total body, and that's how I just kind of work towards my clients.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but again, it is what they want. So clients will come and say, "Hey, I want to be toned." What does that mean? You want to be toned? What does that mean? What does entail? Or I want to come in, and again, I want to look like Travis Sellers. Like, well, what does that entail? So we just got to kind of structure that for that individual person.
Like, because I was thinking about like when we were training. First of all, the eating habits was already built in to the training. So it's not like we had to think about it or like even, I didn't have like a diet. We had to eat right. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't that like, that's a big challenge though?
Well, but you know what? It's funny, like when we go
eating right.
When we were in high school and stuff like that, it was kind of, our diet was just kind of built into the day. Everything was so super structured. Right? So we had breakfast, we had lunch, we worked out, then we had dinner. So we were just kind of,
and that's okay.
And, but what happens when you go, if you happen to be an athlete when you're in college or high school now, I think one of my daughters has first period lunch. I'm like, how are you properly eating throughout the day if you got first period lunch? And now you have this whole space where when teachers are expecting you to be attent, alert, and you're hungry, right? And your brain ain't functioning well because you're not fed.
So you think that between, like, if you eat breakfast at 7 or 8, right?
Right.
You think that if you have a first lunch, you think that by 1, your brain is feeling a deficit that you need to eat again?
Then that's, for some people, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody. When we were younger, again, the diet was, oh, you're going to do this, you need it 5 times a day. You need to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then snacks in between. But again, everything, once you get into it, like, everybody is not the same. So our activity level is not the same. So I'm very active, right? So I eat, and I eat when I'm hungry, right? So but I'm very active. I'm very active. And then you notice on the days where I'm not as active, guess what? I don't eat as much, right? Because I don't need to eat as much. But if you have habits as far as you're not very active, but then you're still eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, Well,
That's when I'm not active.
I think
That's what I'm doing. I'm doing lunch.
Right, you
snacks,
doing it all.
everything.
right, because you have nothing. What else you doing? You're like,
I'm
oh man,
laying around eating.
You're just laying around
But
eating,
I
right?
think Eric makes I think you make an important point, and I think that you may have, so to clarify that, right?
Okay.
So for example, what I mean by that is, you're talking about discipline. Like discipline is an important aspect of any health goals that you have.
Right.
To some degree. And I'm not saying as regimented as you are.
So
right,
discipline is, you saying discipline is another focus
right.
that a person needs to have.
Yes. And I think that it's important that people know that they have to have that.
Right. So
To some degree.
yes and no, right?
Okay.
Because you got individuals like us. We are disciplined, right? We're very disciplined.
You think so?
I mean, when we put our task, your mind to something, if you just say, oh, you know what, I don't like the way I'm looking, I'm going.
Right.
You're just going to start.
Right.
You're just going to do it,
Right.
and you're going to do it until you get how you look. Well, everybody's not that motivated, that disciplined. So what you have to do, if you base it on goals, right? So a lot of times somebody will have a big goal, and all they do is focus on that goal, right? You got to have intermediate goals, right? So you got to have little milestones that you trying to check off, and that. I think if you kind of focus on those goals,
right?
Again, because everybody's not going to be as disciplined, as regimented and stuff, but it's huge, and you just got to start kind of making stuff a habit. So if you have these little short intermediate goals, then I think it's easier to be a habit than to say, okay. Because sometimes you don't feel like,
when you're discussing it with your clients, though, do you mention like you said, being regimented, knowing that you have to have a system of doing this for a period of time,
right,
something like that?
Yeah, I think I would, because sometimes when you say discipline to somebody
I
else,
know,
it's a serious thing, right? Because discipline is
question.
especially for us, right? You're going to the disciplinarian. You're going to, I'm about to discipline you. I'm about to do this, right? So when you talk to that, some people, they're like, it's because there's so many negative connotations with that word discipline.
Absolutely.
So if you just kind of switch it and try to be positive. Now, again, you'll have your disciplined people, and you can have that conversation with them. All right, look, John, you got to do this. Oh, I can do that. Oh, that's nothing but a thing for me.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
Or I have to work on it or whatever.
Right. But you're going to do it. So we just try to set little short goals and stuff, Because
that's true. I mean, I know I understand what you're saying about the discipline, because right after Ramadan, I was like, I'm going to carry this on.
Sure.
So it was easy for me to start like fasting intermittently.
Right.
It was fasting
intermittently.
Yeah, that's right. It was easy for me to do that and carry it on, because I didn't know how you do the days
you're
after.
already doing it.
Right. I just kept it up.
Right.
So like if I eat, I know on Monday and Tuesdays.
Right.
If I fast.
Right.
I mean, my stomach is like.
You cut until you eat dinner. You take the first drink.
No. I mean, it carries over to like the week. Like if I do Mondays and Tuesdays, it seems like after the weekend, if I have a good time, Mondays and Tuesdays, I'm good.
But what you started doing, you started changing your behavior, and now it's becoming a habit, right? So now because it's a habit, you change your behavior. It's a lot easier. So now you can say, well, it wasn't discipline, and it had nothing to do with it. I just kind of changed my behavior. I made it a habit. Right. Now you have habit forming stuff. It's easier to do.
But you know what I did, though? This is the thing I want to tell people.
What's that?
I stopped eating as much as I was. That's just the key.
Right. So
like if I like the weekend, I was going at it. Cakes. Donuts.
Right.
Chicken, whatever.
People like that stuff.
And then this morning, water, smoothie.
Right.
But again, the only reason why I bring up, I say that because we have to examine, because as it relates to healthcare and with people, like everybody may not have the same goals of, I want to be buff or I want to be cut.
Right.
A lot of times.
I'm really buff, though.
But you're still cut, right? You're lean. You have a lot to work with. So if you decide that you want to get that way, you would talk with Eric and, expand your diet a little more, lift heavy or something like that, or begin to bulk up a little, right? If you wanted to do that, or if you wanted to go the opposite way and just be, slim and shredded or whatever, you kind of are predisposed to that. But in terms of your eating habits, you already, you guys had mentioned that you already know some of that part is, you're already kind of disciplined
Right.
in that way.
Yeah.
The challenges, of course, are people who, may not necessarily have those goals. They have those goals, but they also know that they have high blood pressure,
Right. Right.
sugar diabetes,
Right.
or some other ailment that they know. Having the discipline.
Right.
I use that word so much.
No, it's fine. No, it's absolutely fine. But you make it right.
We can be disciplined.
Right.
You can be disciplined. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Like, there's nothing wrong with using that terminology and stuff. But again, as from myself, you just gotta
you have to finesse it
and start speaking how the client's speaking, and
Sure.
just try to pick up on some verbal cues or some, like, you might say something and they might flinch and not notice, and you
Right,
pick up on that. You're like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
let me stay away from all those words,
Right.
Because those are not going to help this person come
And that
back
doesn't
tomorrow.
help.
Come back tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
I just that's your terminology. So we
Right.
can vibe on that.
What I mean? It's just so we would be, but I do know that it is important that in what you do,
Yes.
and with the because you have a diverse clientele, you have men, women, black, white, but again it just comes down to things like understanding the importance of incorporating that in your lifestyle,
Because all the diseases that you just said were preventable diseases.
right.
So
Exactly.
we're
That's
dying
my
at
point.
these high rates.
That's right.
From preventable diseases. Which
Absolutely.
is,
That's my
like,
point.
again, from my mentality and again how I was raised, I'm like, yo, that is crazy.
Right.
There's no way that's happening to me.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do
I'm
my
not gonna
best
do it.
to make sure my family is not doing that and all that stuff and stuff. But again,
stuff you can prevent. You're gonna try to prevent.
you shouldn't be dying of some of these,
Absolutely.
most of these things,
Right.
and
Right.
that's the majority of stuff that kills people in America is preventative diseases.
Wow. So all right. So that's a good segue. So talk about the differences between men and women, because I know that for a long time, when I'm trying to give advice to women, they were like, "Oh no, that's because you get to burn faster. Men, burn faster, or they different.
Right.
So that's
So
that may be true. I don't know.
some of it's true, and
Okay.
then also some of it's also what somebody else said to somebody else, and somebody else said to somebody else, and then like, okay, now that's the truth about no, that's the truth. No, there are differences, right, between men and women when you're talking about training, right? And then like even to start off, it's like in the package of delivery. So I got a woman coming, I got a man. She's like, okay, I'm probably gonna give you the same workout, right? But I'm gonna tell Travis or John, say, yo, man, you want to get ripped, strong, and buff. Give you this workout. It's going to knock it all out.
Right.
Same workout plan to a woman. Say, hey, look, we're going to get toned. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And you're just going to speak. You're going to say the same thing.
Operator.
And again, I'm not doing anything
operator.
wrong. I'm just talking to
Absolutely.
no,
that's
right. I'm not being dishonest. I'm not saying, but again, I'm gonna speak to men, and I gotta speak to women.
Oh,
Right.
Okay.
Now there's some truth to, I know one of the things is with women clients, first thing they say, and I had this with a lot of my athletes too.
Can I tell you
Go
what
ahead, what you gonna say? What I'm saying?
The women don't want to look like the muscle person that they see on TV. Like, I don't want to look like her.
Right.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Right. So with that, you gotta see, and again, it's one of those things. You're just like, okay. So even if I work out with a man and a woman, gave them the same exact exercise, it's gonna take the woman twice as much time to get as big to gain muscle, right?
Yeah.
So they gain it in about half the time.
Okay.
Or men, I always get that mixed up. Again, it's women take longer to get muscle than men.
Okay.
So if we're doing this, you have to be, that has to be one of your goals.
Right.
To be muscular, right? To have bigger muscles, to bigger definition. That has to be one of your goals. If that's not one of your goals, when you come and work with me, that's not going to happen.
Right, it's not going to happen.
Right? So if that's not your goal, it's not going to happen. So you don't have to worry about getting bigger and bulkier, and I don't want to look like that guy, or I don't want to look like a man because I'm lifting this heavy weights. I'm like, absolutely not going to happen.
So just to clarify.
Go back to square one.
So if you're not training for that goal,
right?
If you're a woman training for the goal, even for a guy too, right?
Yeah, and I mean,
Yes,
if you're not training to be bigger, now just because we have more testosterone and we have bigger muscles, we will tend to get we will tend to get a little bit bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're not training for that goal,
But you're not going to look like The Rock.
You're not gonna look like
because
you're doing weightlifting.
Yeah. Like you've got like that's like a job, right? I mean, you
next level
you pick The
stuff.
Rock and got a whole gym in his basement, in his house or whatever, right?
Probably in his kitchen. He probably got a gym in his kitchen,
right?
His dining room,
right?
his bedroom.
And again, he's been doing this since what? His father was an athlete.
Sure.
She's an athlete. So again, this is a habit for him.
It's a habit for him,
right?
Right.
This is a habit. This is his lifestyle,
Okay.
right? So if your lifestyle, if you want to get in there and be bulky and you want to be big and you want to have at it.
Right.
But for the most part, again, it has to be a goal of yours.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, and I go back to this, you mentioned about these diseases that all are preventable.
A lot of diseases that we die from in America are preventable.
So, and I think that that's a good question and thing to address in terms of, especially in our communities,
Right.
especially oftentimes in African-American communities, depending upon where you are,
Right.
where there are either food deserts or where there's not, proper produce and stuff like that.
Right.
A lot of times, and then the city kids just go to, or sometimes families just go to the corner store and get whatever is there, right?
Yep.
And some of those choices are limited.
Right.
So I'm speaking about, like, could you speak on the importance of proper dieting,
Right.
Or foods
Right.
that foods that that are good for us, nutritional foods that are good for us, and those types of choices.
Yeah, and then tie it in with like working out.
So
working out.
So what I would talk about that, right? Like based on what I do, my certifications or whatever, it's all about guidelines, right?
Okay.
So, I can only point you to whatever the guideline is out there. I am not qualified to say, you know what, John, you should eat this, 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 and this. You have to be a certified nutritionist, a dietitian. Like you have to have a degree in those type of things. So, you break it down to like, it's very important to get the nutrients that you need. So you need a certain amount of carbohydrate, fats, and proteins, like that. So, that I can guide you, or we try to guide you on those things. I don't want to particularly say, all right, you want to eat cutlass, boneless chicken on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And again, it's not, it's like, I can just help you with the guidelines of where you need to be. But again, it is very important to get the proper nutrients. And what you're saying is those diets and because of the food deserts and because of the limited choices, our neighborhoods are not getting the proper nutrients that they need, right? So I can say that. I can definitely say that. Like, and again, all those places. So now we're not getting the right nutrients. We're not getting the right carbs. We're not getting the right proteins. We're not getting
minerals,
the right fats and all that stuff. Now it contributes to all those diseases that you're talking about because we don't have access to that healthier stuff. And again, if you don't have money, well, it's easier to buy a $5 meal here, a $5 meal here, a $5 meal here.
Absolutely.
And it might be not as nutritious as you need it to be, but it's quick and easy, and I'm fed. Right. But again, over time, because we don't get the right nutrients and the right macros and micros and all that type of stuff, yes, it starts to weigh on our body. But again, so that, that goes beyond me, right? As far as what we have to do, as far as get the help we need in the community to build supermarkets. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
I don't think that you have to go. I mean, I think you have enough knowledge and understanding of nutrition. No, you do, because
who does?
You.
Oh, no, I do. Oh, yeah, yes.
To say, because I've been watching these guys doing calisthenics.
Right.
70-year-old guys.
Oh,
cut as hell.
Absolutely.
And he can tell you, look, this is what I'm doing. This is what.
Now, you can tell. Sure. I can definitely speak on what.
That's what I want you to speak on that.
Oh, speak on what I'm doing. So
calisthenics. The last thing, but when you do that, then talk about calisthenics. How that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen some guys, man. 70-year-old guys.
Right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So my diet again, like I said before, I'm very active. I don't know. Should I be talking? I'm talking.
I do both.
Okay. So I'm very active. So typically in the morning I'll get up and I'll have a meal replacement shake.
Okay.
Right? Now the real meal replacement shake for me is not really replacing a meal for me is adding a meal, right? So I'll take that because typically I might.
What do you mean by adding a meal?
You know, it's like because I'm hungry when I get up, but if I have an early client or something like that, I don't really feel like getting up earlier to make breakfast. So I'll do a meal replacement shake. So which is different from a protein shake, right? So my meal replacement shakes just have more.
I thought it was the same.
No, because if you look at the thing, it'll say protein shake, and then that's to get protein.
Sure.
So but the meal replacement just has all different type of nutrients in it besides that, so it kind of counts as a full meal.
Okay.
Right. So the protein is just like, I'm
so
taking a protein shake.
Like if you drinking a protein shake.
A protein shake. So
that's not a meal?
No, it's something typically you want to take after you've worked out or something like that. Just just to start with the muscle.
See, people don't know that.
Repair, muscle repair and things like that. So I'll take a meal replacement shake.
Gotcha.
Right? So then if I have a 7 o'clock client, then I'll come back. Maybe it's like, I'm hungry. I'm starving.
Right.
So then I'll come back and I'll eat. So what I'll eat is, for me, it works. Three hard-boiled eggs, 2 pieces of sausage, bagel.
All at one time.
All at one time. all at one time.
Sausage is not. It's
a protein. I mean, I'm like overloaded on the protein, but that's what I like.
Okay.
So I'm gonna eat what I like too. So I'm not necessarily gonna. I'm not necessarily gonna be. My diet is not like my diet was trash this week. Like I'm not really so canned. I mean, I had some cheese twists, had birthday cake. I'm really not a birthday cake fan, but I ate it. We ate out. I think I had some not authentic Chinese food. I mean, I don't want to be plugging nobody, but I had some not authentic Chinese food.
There you go.
So I was like,
yes, sir.
I was like, and I was just like, But so typically, and then in the afternoon, I'll have another client. Then I'll come back midday, between 12 and 2. I might eat again.
Gotcha.
Right, and then if I have another client, then I'll have a snack.
Okay.
Like just some type of snack, whatever I look.
What do you consider a snack?
Like a salad, it might be a snack for me.
Salad. Okay.
Yeah. So and again, I try to make my salads like they look in the store.
Yeah, sure.
But I'll get some spring mix.
Mm-hmm.
I might get some walnuts. I'll get some strawberries if they're in season. I may get some blue cheese and put on there, and I'll just eat a regular salad. I won't add any chicken or anything like that, unless I wanted that for lunch. Then I might add that extra protein in it. But if I'm just going to snack, it's just going to be just a regular, and I'll cut up some apples and put that in. Mm. And then whatever for dinner.
Sounds good. Yeah. And you wouldn't put salad dressing or anything on it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely put salad dressing on it.
Okay,
like, hey,
any kind that you want, bro. It's like
I put any
want.
kind that I want, but you get to a point where I'm not putting the same amount of salad dressing I was when I was 15.
Right. Got you. Right.
So you want to taste everything in the salad, right?
Sure.
So you just put enough on it just to cover, and then you mix it around. And if you get a bite of lettuce with no salad dressing, so be it. But you still have the strawberry. You got the walnut.
Sure,
you got the blue cheese.
Yeah.
You got those other flavors. So you don't have. I don't drown it with all the extra because. And again, my salad's not that big either.
Okay.
So I'm not, it's because it's a snack, so it might be this, and I think that's going back to what you said. Another one of the problems are portion sizes.
I was about to say
right?
that.
It's portion sizes. We like our food is like
the portions are
ridiculous.
Yes, they are.
So and again, the plates that you buy are huge, right? So you go to the store, you're looking for plates, but so if you kind of want to combat that, what you can do is just go. Remember how you used to separate your food for your kids?
Yeah,
right.
Get one of them.
Wow. You should do that as an adult.
You can do that as an adult.
You can do that
as an adult. Eat out of one of those little plates that the kid had. Put your protein here.
Yeah.
Put your vegetable here. Your carb here. Your fat. And you can, and that's it.
Because we're not burning the food as faster as we used to when we was kids. So you can't eat as we did when we were 20-something because we're not burning.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That's just what I was.
But I think that it's important that we mention that with Eric. No, just everything that he went through in terms of portion size, in terms of the salad with just a little dressing. Like sometimes just hearing those things, you got to remember, man. a lot of times people don't really know that. They're going by their own devices.
Right.
So, and it doesn't necessarily have to be some, major professional guy that says it, but it's always good to have somebody who is, right, who understands that, from a nutritional standpoint of view to me.
But, and it's just like, even what you're saying, like what we do on our platform, there's so many people out here that says, don't eat this, don't eat that, don't eat that. Right. That type of stuff requires a lot of discipline, right? Like, and everybody can't do that. But so I'm not trying to say, oh no, don't eat that. That's bad for you. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. And then you just like, well, what can I do? This is frustrating. I don't want to do this. Yeah. Right? So you just got to say, hey, man, you can eat what you want, but here's what's going to happen if you eat this. If you eat this, with the potentials of this. So you want to make sure you have the right nutrients or the right amount of carbs, proteins, and fats, throughout your diet.
So if you're a guy like me, I eat a lot of carbs. I like cakes and cookies. I had chocolate chip cookies with milk. But today, I know. But today I'm fasting today. Right. So but to close out, the new craze for me is the calisthenics.
I'm glad you said it right. Like, look,
let's talk about calisthenics versus lifting weights.
All right, you were saying these guys. You're excited about that. So I want to hear more.
So these guys, right? So I seen the one guy. All he does is pull ups, and I'm trying to do. So I want to do that same thing. I want to do the pull up where you come up and do. Oh wow. What's that called, Eric?
Muscle up, maybe.
Muscle up. Yeah.
No, it's just coming up to.
So you pull up and then you push up.
There's so many different names to all these different exercises. I'll say something and somebody think it's something else. So you're basically trying to pull up to from here. Yeah.
But these guys are so cut, right? And I started doing the pull ups, and adding the abs. Literally. I've been doing it a little bit, but I was like, I'm focused on it this time. Is all I was doing. My abs were done the next day. And I wasn't even doing that much. Right. I wasn't even doing that much.
Well, that takes, some of those things you'll see people, it takes a lot of upper body strength, but again, it's all core strength as well. Yes.
So like this guy, he does, and the pull-ups galore.
Okay.
Right.
And the variations with you holding yourself and then,
down
the core stuff. Yeah, man, it's awesome. Okay. But he's 70 years old.
Right.
This guy is 70 years old. And he was doing, so this another guy that I was watching, he was from Philadelphia.
Okay.
Over there by Gratz. Let me tell you what he did. He did he did one lap where he did lunges 2 times, like one leg and the next leg, right? Mm-hmm. Did a burpee and did 2 push-ups and did that all the way around the track. Right. And he was buff. It looked like he lift weights. He said this is all he does.
Right.
So
right. I'm a huge proponent of lifting weights.
Okay.
I'm a huge proponent of lifting heavy weights.
Yes, you are.
I'm a huge proponent of, as you get older, to continue lifting the heavy weights, right? As far as, because, when you get older, you see older folks that have a hard time doing what? Walking up the steps.
Sure.
Getting up out of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, all those things are attributed. If you can still squat, you don't have a hard time getting up out of the sit. You got to sit down on the toilet. Which give me another thing. All the toilets are so high now because
they're trying to raise up so people can.
Because people get weaker because they don't do any exercises and things like that, so they can't squat as low. So I'm a big proponent of maintaining weights, squats, deadlifts as you get older. Right? Okay. I'm also a big proponent of the circuit training. We grew up on the
circuit training.
What circuit? It's so many different names. People call it high hit, and I'm just like
training,
which was a term that was started like in the 30s through track and field, but we won't get into that. But how I be hating on all these. I was like, no, this stuff originated in track and field. They've been doing this since 1930s, high intensity interval training, and that is not the definition of. It's like, I'm about to go off on a tangent. But I'm also a big proponent of circuit training, right? And it's funny though when you're talking about a difference between men and women. So women tend to do better at circuit training because their muscles are not as big, so they don't have as much output, so they can recover a little bit.
Right, gotcha.
So women, so you tend to maybe hey, let's do this circuit training for women. But again, I'm still going to incorporate the weightlifting and stuff like that. But again, those circuits and those type of things incorporate body weight. Being able to control your own body weight is just huge. And again, the volume that guy is doing, of course, he is going to get jacked. You know, kind of doing that. And again, he might not need to do anything else as far as doing that, because he's got that regimen. He's got that thing going. So
I was like, man, I was getting pretty jacked myself. Just doing
absolutely. Absolutely. Like you know, don't ever get away from, again, if that's your goal. Yeah. Like if you're trying to be,
I do want to do handstands.
You want to, again, that's body weight, that's core, that's all that type of stuff. So you got to be able to control your stuff. You're not necessarily going to be able to do that if you're not incorporating, all of those things in your regimen.
Well, thanks a lot. Thank you, Eric, for sharing your knowledge with us.
Oh man,
Mobility Fitness.
Oh yes, Mobility Fitness.
So give me your plugs.
Oh man, I meant to bring a card, but again, you can just find me on Instagram, Mobility Fitness. You can find me. I post some YouTube, Mobility Fitness. Also, you can look at my. I have a website, just mobilityfitness.com, and just some of the things that I've done. Some of the people I've worked with, and things like that. So you just can look Mobility Fitness, and you can find me. And again, it's Mobility, Mobelity.
Awesome.
Yes.
Right, fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh man, appreciate it. Hey, this is awesome, man. I appreciate y'all having me on. This is awesome. This is kind of talk, and again, not be so scientific about that, because sometimes that science stuff, like.
Right. Your eyes gotta speak to the people, man. And we get it all here. And get all types of information. And certainly what's important in our community is our health.
Oh, absolutely.
In every community, for that matter,
but especially
in our communities, it's important to have that type of health. So we exercise our mental stuff, and then we got Eric coming in and exercise the mental and the physical stuff.
So yes, appreciate it. So you can find us on True Levels of Team Victory, YouTube. Subscribe and like us. And if you have any comments, you can always catch Eric Mobley at his Mobility Fitness. You can connect with us.
Yeah, like, share, and subscribe to me as well.
Yeah. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Next time.